Hi there, she ladies. It's me, Sherry, and Amanda, and we are going to be talking today about education at home. With this whole virus stuff, we're going to be with our children 24/7. Whew, it's awesome. But so we thought we've been thinking and talking and just wanting to share some thoughts on what this can look like, how to calm some fears or pressures that you may have. And so Amanda has already been homeschooling her children, her three kids. And so she just has some really helpful tips to share with each of us. So let's get started. Amanda, tell us just even some tips that you would share with us mums.
Okay, well, first off, the very first tip I'd want to give is to stay away from media, stay away from Facebook and the news and any of that stuff. Do not read it because there's a lot of information out there that's really negative. And when you go on Facebook, there's a lot of emotions and people responding out of fear. Whether you think it affects you or not, it does add a bit of a heavy element to your life. And so when you're stepping into a world that you're not used to and you don't really know what you're doing, that just adds to it. Homeschooling can be extremely overwhelming.
Mhm.
And so to have that on top, it will affect the way you respond to your child. So you want to just stay away from that so that you can see your family and your life and your kids for who they are and what you see, not with anybody else's thoughts or opinions or feelings or anything added on top of that.
Mhm.
That being said, when it goes into the homeschooling side of things, you need to remember to go easy on yourself, to not have high expectations. You don't have to run your house like they do at school. You don't have to have an extremely 100% structured, okay, you're going to be doing school from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. or anything like that, because that is not realistic.
Mhm.
You also have to remember that when you're doing this class, when you're teaching your child, it's just you and your child, not you, your child, and 20 other kids.
Right.
So that one-on-one is very important, and they're going to be taking in a lot more. They're going to be able to ask more questions, and you're going to be able to work together a lot better.
Right.
Um, it's not. It's I know that makes it sound really easy because it's not easy, because your child still has their own personality. So they're still going to be pushing back, and um, you're going to have that kind of trouble. But the beautiful part of it is that you can sit back and allow your child to learn at their own pace.
Right.
So you don't try and rush everything, and don't expect your kids to get things right away, or worry that if they don't get it right away that they're not going to get it or you're not doing a good job. So
Mhm.
no media, go easy on yourself, and allow your child to learn at their pace, and start to understand how they learn at their own pace as well.
That's great, Amanda. Those are really helpful. I think even for myself too, as I think about teaching Ezekiel some different things, these are great because I'm going into like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? But even just like the no pressure and just take it easy, easy on myself, easy on him is very helpful.
Mhm.
You mentioned just some of the pushback that you may experience. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to homeschooling, you're going to notice automatically that there's two different types of pressure. And the first pressure is kind of what I talked about at the beginning, where the pressure for you to succeed as a teacher and a parent, and for your child to succeed,
Mhm.
which we've already talked about that. And, that's a negative pressure. But the other pressure is a more positive pressure, which in the moment, will seem like the most frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, and that is the pushback that you're going to get from your child. You may not get it all the time, but it's going to happen. And this isn't a negative thing. This is actually a really great thing, because it's in those moments that you both are learning to work together, to understand how each other work, and um, to just allow yourself to hear what your child's saying, and don't get
Mhm.
discouraged if there's pushback. It's not am I making sense when I say
Yeah.
that? um it's kind of like a diamond, where there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of hardship that goes in
Yeah.
before it becomes that stone, that beautiful diamond in the end of it. And it's the exact same with this. It's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of pushback. And, but in the end of it, it's going to be beautiful because it's an opportunity. This is what I love about homeschool. It's an opportunity to build your relationship with your child, to go through these hardships, to learn how your child thinks and works, and for them to understand you as well and how you guys
Mhm.
can work together. And it just makes a stronger, more beautiful relationship.
Hmm.
And you become closer, and it's in those moments that it really puts the pressure on both of you. And having those conversations, it opens up doors to have conversations about other things, about how you work, and talk to them about how they're thinking, why things upset them. And it's just
Yeah.
a very personal, it's a really personal opportunity. It's really a blessing to be
Mhm.
able to go into this place where you can just sit down and have this time with your kids, which is really great.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
it, uh,
really great. I love like how you shared about the different tips of, like you mentioned, the going easy on yourself and on your child, to
mhm,
go in it expecting that there will be struggle, but to almost like have a mindset of embracing that and then
mhm.
moving forward and finding the blessings in the struggle. And we just have about a minute or so, but could you even just give us some ideas that we could do at home with our kids? Some of the things that you have found really neat and exciting to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, for sure. So when it comes to the school part, like the book work side of things, the regular math, and if your kids in elementary school, the math, the spelling, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, Only do that for a couple of hours a day. That doesn't have to be the whole day. The wonderful thing is that you can teach your child how life is school. It's not in a
Right.
building. You need to constantly change and learn and figure out how to adjust, and this whole virus thing is a beautiful example of that. And it's opened up doors for conversation about, okay, last week you could go out and be with your friends, this week you're kind of inside and you can't go
Yeah.
anywhere. So that touches on like the emotional, mental, physical, all of that spiritual side of things in your child. But um, there's also things like baking. If you bake, that is science, math, and social all in one thing.
So
Um,
going to the store, buying muffins, doesn't it really takes the
well,
science
that's
out of that, hey?
yeah.
And
Well,
just
there's math in that, and
math,
that's
yeah.
still social studies, because if you're with your kids and your kids in elementary school, then you can say, notice all the different jobs that people have to make the store run,
Yeah.
you know and so there's always observations that you can make. There's always things that you can do. There's um even I don't know, making up random experiments, or and
Yeah.
just even just sitting and reading with your kid, just everything that you do with your child or they see you do, they are learning. So
Mhm.
it's not just about the book work. Am I
Yeah.
making sense?
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
Amanda. I think,
So
yeah, I think you've really, in this short amount of time, just encapsulated what it can look like. And
yeah,
I hope for each of you ladies that we would be able just to take what Amanda has shared, apply that to our daily life, invite Christ into this and the stress and the worry that you may have,
100%.
to bring him into this as well as these tips. And so, Amanda, I just want to thank you so much for sharing this.
Yeah, no
And
worries.
yeah, thank you so much, ladies, for watching. And we will see you soon, hopefully. Take care.